career start here in July of 1993. He too can go to about lap 250 to 255. So all of the RCR guys you're looking at right there, one more stop to get to the end.
This track certainly that has been good to those drivers. Clint Boyer, a two-time winner here. We've talked throughout the afternoon about Jeff Burton's success, and Kevin Harvick also has a victory at New Hampshire. And right now, Kurt Busch has his hands full because Brian Vickers and Jimmy Johnson right behind want that fourth position.
I don't know if Jimmy Johnson is this much faster or everybody's coming back to him, but Johnson's making up a lot of ground.
Listen to live in-car audio for all 43 Sprint Cup drivers and have live race stats at your fingertips at NASCAR.com/raceview. Tony Stewart's lead, 2.3 seconds over Carl Edwards. Ryan Newman in third, some 3.6 seconds behind. Then you saw Kurt Busch in that group from fourth on back. Green flag pit stops coming up. We'll have them when we return to Loudon, New Hampshire. Under caution for the 8th time to track, and this is going to figure into the strategy a little bit because there were a lot of guys that were getting ready to have to come down pit road under green as you see them go get the debris here up in turn 1.
Well, this definitely helps the guys that had to come down twice for fuel. So it's going to put everybody on the same deal as far as fuel goes. It's going to be interesting to see what they do on the tires, though, here.
Going to get the pit stops with 84 to go, Chris.
Well, Brian Vickers saying his car's still a little bit loose. They're going to make a wedge adjustment, going to do 4 tires on this stop. But the team also saying they're going to be about 15 laps short on fuel. Matt?
And Tony Stewart said his car was very good during that run. He was just babying and trying to save fuel. They're going to take 4 tires here because Jeff Gooch Patterson, the gas man, has to pack that fuel cell full of fuel. Ralph.
The key is the gas, Matt. Just like you said, they're thinking about 10 laps short here with Jimmy Johnson. They're packing it all in. He shakes his head. Yeah, we're good, Marty.
Right on the edge of the window for Carl Edwards on the bottom of your screen, forced to take 4 tires because they took 2 last time. It's a wedge adjustment and air pressure adjustment. He'll lose a ton of track position. I believe there was probably fuel only on a few of those stops, Adam.
And the first off pit road, indeed, Marty, a guy that took fuel only. Clint Boyer jumping some 10 positions. Joey Logano and Marcus Ambrose stay out. They're the top 2 with 84 left at New Hampshire. Jimmy Johnson was running inside the top 5 when the caution came out. He made a pit stop, would have restarted 19th after everyone left pit road, but they had a problem.
And Kyle touched on this in the pre-race. We talked about at the beginning of the show. These guys got to stop making mistakes if they're going to win another championship.
Yeah, and you watch him on the right side. It's on the left front here. As we go to the other side, he's changing the left front, and as you see the left front tire changer, he reaches down in there. Watch his left hand at some point in time here. He hits the lugs and then he reaches back in with his right hand right there, trying to put one on. The official sees it. Not enough lugs on the left front, and that's just a mistake. These guys have made numerous mistakes. Jimmy drives his rear end off to get in position. The strategy works, but they lose everything on pit road.
They won 5 consecutive championships because they never beat themselves. 2011, they always beat themselves.
And Chad said it in pre-race. We've got some weak links, and we've got to fix them. And that's one of the ones that they've been working on. And they've been working really hard on. You got to give the guys credit. They stay extra. They work extra. They're working hard. It's just not panning out for them on race days right now.
Joey Logano, Marcus Ambrose did not pit with all the others at lap 217. They're on the front row for the restart with 80 laps remaining at New Hampshire.
This is where you start seeing a little bit more contact. This part of the race.
Marcus Ambrose able to get the jump in front of Logano. Boyer was the first off pit road a moment ago, but he took no tires in that cycle of stops.
I know I keep saying it. Jeff Gordon's back to 15th. He's got to have passed every car at least 4 times today.
Ward got in there hard, got in the just touched the 20 car of Logano.
And that really opened the door for Montoya, who's got some momentum on the inside. Maybe not.
And this is where, like I said, you get greedy. This time of the race, you're going to take more racetrack than you've been using all day long.
Tell you got to keep your eye on Ryan Newman. He's 5th right now. And when you look at guys in the top 5, he has been the most dominant of that group, although Jeff Burton's had a great day, and here he comes for position.
Newman's Just got a little bit better exit off of turn 2. Keeps the spot.
And look, there's Greg Biffle right there in front of Tony Stewart. We haven't spoken about Greg Biffle hardly at all. All of a sudden, these guys are in the mix.
And on a day when strategy has been so big, 2 tires or 4 or no tires, a new crew chief and Matt Pusha doing a very nice job of managing the afternoon for Biffle.
Oh, wreck down.
Big trouble, front straightaway. That's Brian Vickers, who looked like he got a piece of the wall. Jimmy Johnson able to drive through behind. He was back there after having to make that second trip down pit road. Vickers spent a lot of today inside the top 10, was running 22nd when he got the wall here. And now we take a look at what happened.
He's down on the flat right there. Oh.
Teammates.
Yeah, they just, that's a hard one. I mean, there was no, he's on the inside. Maybe,
I think
maybe
Casey just ran. Well, Casey just looked like he ran out of.
Casey
really had the 36 up on the high side right there, and he was already leaning on the 36.
Yeah, Casey's trying to get off the 36, and I don't know how you could, not like you could do there. You know what I mean?
Mark Martin has gotten the free pass 2 cautions in a row, and he is now back on the lead lap after being 2 laps in arrears.
I'm not sure Vickers knew that there was somebody on the outside of Casey either.
So down now to 76 laps to go. Vickers takes it to the garage. Ambrose stayed out under that last caution, as did Joey Logano. They're going to have to pit one more time for sure. In fact, you believe a lot of these guys are going to have to make a pit stop.
I think you can make it on fuel here, if you stop now and take gas, can't you, Larry, if you make it the rest of the way?
Well, I think we're seeing Ambrose and Logano come right here, as well as Montoya. No question, right here, seeing Stewart, seeing a bunch of them. You can make it from here. Under caution, you're getting about 2 to 1 as far as ratio caution to green using fuel. But Ralph, what's going on? I'm seeing a lot of cars hit pit road.
Larry, originally Greg Zipadelli was thinking about 4 tires. They're going to tighten them up a little bit. He made the call just as he was coming down pit road to take 2 instead, and a whole bunch of fuel as well. Matt?
And meanwhile, while work goes on the 4 car of Casey Kane, looking at the cosmetic damage on the left front, they're going to tug on that. The 24 of Gordon and the 14 of Stewart came in to top off for fuel.
In all, there were 12 drivers that made a pit stop at lap 226. Clint Boyer did not. He is on track and the race leader, as we're under caution for the 9th time today. Time for another AT&T Fastest Pit Crew Award. And the update has Ryan Newman spending the least amount of time on pit road today. Use your AT&T phone to get updated standings following the race by texting the car number you think will be quickest to 234-567. When prompted, reply OK to receive updates. Back under green, Clint Boyer and Ryan Newman on the front row. Fresher tires for Newman in that outside lane. See if he can make it stick going into turn 3.
Good corner.
Jeff Burton making a move on former teammate Greg Biffle.
Okay, now the way you guys see it is that all these guys have to stop for fuel one more time, correct? Like the top 14, top 15
now, Marty
guys?
told us during the break that Ryan Newman, with that last caution, was 3 laps short on fuel. So one more caution may do it. Larry, do your numbers add up to the same as some of these guys?
Well, a driver that I'm watching right now is that 22 car of Kurt Busch. He was last on pit road at lap 217, which was 83 laps to go. He also, at that same time, took 4 fresh tires, so we know he's good on rubber. As we've seen many times this year, the Dodges seem to get better fuel mileage than anybody, and I go back to a conversation we had during break. For every 2 caution laps, that's like 1 green lap. So I think one more caution actually is going to buy a lot of these drivers the ability to get to the end, in particular Kurt Busch.
What's Steve Addington and the crew saying, Matt?
That's exactly what they're hoping for, at least another caution. If they could have pitted when they had won it on lap 225, Steve Addington felt like they were going to be very close to the finish Now he's telling Kurt, we are about 5 laps short. Conserve all you can.
Okay, but now, Kyle, I think Stewart, Johnson, those guys back there, Jeff Gordon, those guys all can make it.
I think they're good.
Green.
I think they're good going green, running hard going green, without cautions or anything.
So you got two totally different strategies going here with the top 14 compared to some of these guys that are back in 16th, 18th. Stewart's back in 23rd right now, but they've got plenty of fuel.
Now Greg Biffle making a nice rally late. He gets to the inside of Clint Boyer. Biffle now running as good as he has all afternoon in the runner-up position. Boyer back to third. Tell you what, that new crew chief deal panning out pretty good for the 16 bunch, Ralph.
Yeah, it really is. And remember, they're really points racing. They want to make sure they get themselves in the chase. And I talked to Matt Pusha just moments ago about their fuel. He said we're about 8 laps short. So they're going to really take a look at that risk reward because they've got to score points if they want in the chase.
They're 13th in the standings as they run on track right now, 26 out of the top 10. A victory would put them in wild card position. So you've looked at who's in the top 5. Carl Edwards running 6th. Dale Earnhardt Jr., who struggled early, was 7th. Hamlin, Kenseth, and Smith make up the top 10. As we ride on board with Kurt Busch, we remind you the Coca-Cola in-car camera on Race Buddy lets you ride shotgun with the Coca-Cola Racing family of drivers. Check it out on NASCAR.com's Race Buddy. And Kurt Busch delivering for the fans. Working over Clint Boyer, this for 4th. And there's Dale Jr. looking good in the late stages of the race. Around Denny Hamlin to 7th.
And we saw Denny last we mentioned Denny and saw him. He was sitting backwards in the middle of the racetrack. And that team's recovered, and their strategy right now, whatever they played out all day long, is put them in 8th position.
Well, and give credit to the crew. When that caution came out and he got turned around, he never lost a lap. It's back at lap 172. And in that same cycle, Jeff Gordon got the free pass under that caution, and we have documented throughout the day what a nice job his team has done. He's 16th right now. Greg Biffle not happy with running 2nd. He is knocking on the door of the race lead with 64 laps to go.
Hey, Biffle's car looks like it rolls into the corner really, really well, but Newman's car is much better from the middle off.
Regan Smith had his best qualifying effort here in New Hampshire on Friday afternoon. Started 11th, and they have fought it all day long, and now in the top 10 in the late stages, Larry.
Yeah, another driver I'm looking at. How about J.J. Yeagley in that 38 car? He's in this car because Travis Quapple was going to be at Iowa for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race. Obviously, Travis did not run that race because Todd Bodine got in that truck. J.J. comes here. He stands in for Quapple in this car, and this is a team that's fighting to stay in the top 35 in points. Here he is sitting back in the 13th, 14th position right now. Great run when you consider we only have 60 laps to go.
In trouble, Jimmy Johnson, the 5-time champion, turns around, 10th yellow flag of the day. And this is going to help everybody that wants to save fuel. And you certainly could make it from here if you came down pit road. Jimmy Johnson running 21st when he went around down in the corner.
He just tried staying off of Montoya. It looked like he got in the corner. His car looked like it's probably pushing up towards Montoya, and he just pinched it down.
You ride with Martin Truex Jr. He had a front row seat.
Get down, get down, get down, get down, get down. Good, all good. Keep coming. No cautions out, cautions out.
So pit road is open. And I think this is going to be the defining moment on if anyone's going to come again or not. A lot of guys liking track position.
What do you think they're going to do there, Adam Alexander?
Hey, I'm not the guy to answer this question.
We got the guy that works here that can, though.
I think a lot of them are going to be in.
And how about we start with the guy who's running in the 2nd spot. Greg Biffle in, so is Jeff Burton, Chris.
Jeff Burton going to do 2 tires and fuel. They were going to be 7 laps short, so they didn't think that they were going to get the 15 laps of caution that they would need. Also the 33 in. Ralph?
Matt Pusha getting right into the strategy early on here, showing his stuff as a new